Good morning, Ajahn.
Morning.
Good morning, brothers and sisters in the Dhamma. Let us pay respect to Ajahn by bowing 3 times. First bow. Second bow. Third bow. We'll begin with the chanting. We will now invite Ajahn to lead us in the chanting, please.
Okay, so we start with the Buddha verse on loving kindness. Karaniyamattha kusalena yantang santang patang apisameja sakko uchu cha suhuchu cha suvajo cha samuthu anatimani santu sakko cha suparo cha appakicho cha sallahukawutti santin triyo cha nipako cha Appakappo kulesu ananukhitto naja kuttang samajare kinchiyena vinyu pare upavathayung sukhino va khemino hontu sapphe satta bhavantu sukhitatta ye ke cipana phota thitasa thawara Anavase sati khawa ye mahanta wa machimara saka anukathura Tittha wa ye cha atittha ye cha ture vasanti aviture Bhuta wa sampave si wa sapphe satta bhavantu sukhitatta Na paro parang nikupphe thananti manye thikatha jinang kinti phayaro sana patikasanya nanya manya sathukha michaya mata yatha niyang puttang ayusa eka puttam anurakhe evam pisappa pute sumana sampavaye aparimanang Metan ca sappha lokasming mana sampavaye aparimanang Uttang atho jatiriyan ca asampatang averang asapattang titthang jarang nisinno va sayano va yavatassa vikhatamito etang sating atit Thaya brahma metang viharang itama hutit Tinja anupakhamma sila thasanena sampanno kame suvinaya kethang nahi chatu khappasayang punareti te. Now that the chants the Buddha verse on loving kindness, this is what should be done by one who is skilled in goodness and who knows the path of peace. Let them be able and upright, straightforward and gentle in speech, humble and not conceited, contented and easily satisfied, unburdened with duties, and frugal in their ways, peaceful and calm and wise and skillful, not proud and demanding in nature. Let them not do the slightest thing that the wise would later reprove, wishing in gladness and in safety. May all beings be at ease. Whatever living beings there may be, whether they are weak or strong, omitting none, the great or the mighty, medium, short or small, the seen and the unseen, those living near and far away, those born and to be born, may all beings be at ease. Let none deceive another or despise any being in any state. Let none through anger or ill will, which harms upon another, even as a mother protects with her life her child, her only child, so with a boundless heart, choose one cherish all living beings, radiating kindness over the entire world, spreading ours to the skies and ours to the depths, ours and unbounded, free from hatred and ill will, whether standing or walking, seated or lying down, free from drowsiness. One should sustain this recollection. This is said to be the sublime abiding, by not holding to fixed views, the pure-hearted one, having clarity of vision, being free from all sense desires, is not born again into this world. หันธรรมยังอุทิศนาทิธานาคาทายโยพนามาเสอิมินาปุญญกรรมเมนะอุปัชฌายาคุณุตตราอาจาริโยปการาจะมาตาปิตาจะยาตกาสุริโยจันทิมาราชาคุณาวันตานราปิจาพระมมาราจะอินทาจะโลกาปาลาจะเทวตายาโมมิตามนุสาจะมัชชัตตาเวริกาปิจาสัพเพสัตตาสุขีโหนตุปุญญานิปกตานิเมสุขันจติวิทังเทนตุขิปปังปาเปทโวมะตังอิมินาปุญญกรรมเมนะอิมินาอุทิเสนาจาขิปปะหังสุลเพเจวตันหุปาฐานาเชทนังเยสันตาเนหินาธรรมายาวะนิพพานโตมะมังนัสสันตุสัพพตาเยวะยัตถชาโตภเวภเวอุชุจิตังสติปัญญาสันเลโควิริยัมหินามาราลพันตุโนกาสังกาตุนจะวิริเยสุเมพุทธาธิปะวโรนาโทธัมโมนาโทวรุตตโมนาโทปัจเจกพุทโธจะสังโฆนาโทตโรมะมังเตโสตมานุภาเวนะมาโรกาสังลพันตุมา Now let us chant the verses of sharing and aspiration. Through the goodness that arises from my practice, may my spiritual teachers and guides of great virtue, my mother, my father, and my relatives, the suns and the moon, and all virtuous leaders of the world, may the highest gods and evil forces, celestial beings, guardian spirits of the earth, and the lords of death, may those who are friendly, indifferent, or hostile, may all beings receive the blessings of my life. May they soon attain the threefold bliss and realize the deathless. Through the goodness that arises from my practice, and through these acts of sharing, may all desires and attachments quickly cease, and all harmful states of mind, until I realize Nibbana in every kind of birth. May I have an upright mind, with mindfulness and wisdom, austerity and vigor. May the forces of delusion not take hold, nor weaken my resolve. The Buddha is my excellent refuge, unsurpassed interpretations of the Dhamma. The solitary Buddha is my noble guide. The Sangha is my supreme support. Through the supreme power of all this, may darkness and delusion be dispelled. หันธรรมยังเมตตาภารนังกโรมาเสอาหังสุขิโตโหมินิทุกโขโหมิอเวโรโหมิอัพพยาปัชโชโหมิอานิโคโหมิสุขีอัตตานังปริหารามิสัพเพสัตตาสุขิตาโหนตุสัพเพสัตตาอเวราโหนตุสัพเพสัตตาอัพพยาปัชชาโหนตุ สัพเพสัตตาอนิฆาโหนตุสัพเพสัตตาสุขีอัตตานังปริหารันตุสัพเพสัตตาสัพพทุกขาปมุญจันตุสัพเพสัตตาลัทธสัมปติโตมาวิคันชันตุสัพเพสัตตากัมมัสสกากัมมัทายาทากัมมโยนิกัมมพันธุกัมมปฏิสรณายังกัมมังกริสันติกัลยาณังวาปาปกังวาตัสสทายาทาภวิสันติ Now let us chant the reflections on universal well-being. May I abide in well-being, in freedom from affliction, in freedom from hostility, in freedom from ill will, in freedom from anxiety, and may I maintain well-being in myself. May everyone abide in well-being, in freedom from hostility, in freedom from ill will, in freedom from anxiety, and may they maintain well-being in themselves. May all beings be released from all suffering, and may they not be parted from the good fortune they have attained. When they act upon intentions, all beings are the owners of their actions and inherit its results. Their future is born from such action, companion to such actions, and its results will be their home. All actions with intentions, be they skillful or harmful, of such acts they will be the heirs. มงคลสุตตะเอวังเมสุตังเอกังสมยังภควาสาวัตถิยังวิหารติเจตวันเนอนาถปินทิกัสสะอาราเมอัตถโคอัญญตราเทวตาอภิกันตายรัตติยาอภิกันตวันนาเกวลกัปปังเชตวนังโอภาเสตวาเยนะภควาเตนุปสังกมิอุปสังกมิตวาภควันตังอภิวาเทตวาเอกมันตังอัตถาสิเอกมันตังทิตาโคสาเทวตาภควันตังหาทายะอัจฉภาสีพหุเทวามนุสสาจามังคลานิอจินตยุงอากังขมานาโสธานังโปรหิมังคารมุตตมังอเสวนาจะพาลานังปันทิตานันจะเสวนาปูชาจะปูชนียานังเอตัมมังคารมุตตมังปฏิรูปเทสวาโสจาปุพเพจักตปุญญาตาอัตตสัมมาปณิทิจาเอตัมมังคารมุตตมังพาหุสัจจันจะสิบปัญจาวินโยจะสุสิกขิโตสุภาสิตาจะยาวาจาเอตัมมังคารมุตตมังมาตาปิตุอุปัฏฐานังพุทธทารัสสะสังฆโหอนาคุลาจะกัมมันตาเอตัมมังคารมุตตมังทานันจะธรรมจริยาจายาตกานันจะสังฆโหอนวัชชานิกัมมานิเอตัมมังคารมุตตมังอารติวิรติปาปามัชฌปานาจะสัญญโมอัปปมาโทจะธัมเมสุเอตัมมังคารมุตตมังคารโวจานิวาโตจาสันตุทิจักตัญยุตากาเลนะธัมมัสสวนังเอตัมมังคารมุตตมังขันติจะโสวจัสสตาสมนานันจะทัสสนังกาเลนะธัมมสากัจฉาเอตัมมังคารมุตตมังตโปจะพรหมจริยัญจา อริยสัจจานัทัสสนังนิพพานสัจฉิกิริยาจาเอตัมมังกรมุตตมังพุทธัสสะโลกธัมเมหิจิตตังยัสสะนกัมปติอโศกังวิรชังเขมังเอตัมมังกรมุตตมังเอตาทิสานิกัตตวานาสัพพัทธมัปปราชิตาสัพพัทธโสทิงคัจฉันติตันเตสังมังคลมุตตมันติ Translation. The highest blessings. Now let us chant the verses on the highest blessings. Thus have I heard that the blessed one was staying at Savatthi, residing at the Jeta Grove in Anathapindika's park. Then in the darks of the night, a radiant Deva illuminated all Jeta Grove. She bowed down low before the blessed one. Then standing to one side, she said, Devas are concerned for happiness and ever long for peace. The same is true for humankind. What then are the highest blessings? Avoiding those of foolish ways, associating with the wise, and honoring those worthy of honor. These are the highest blessings. Living in presence of suitable kinds, with the fruits of past good deeds, and guided by the rightful way. These are the highest blessings. Accomplished in learning and craftsman skills, with disciplines highly trained, and speech that is true and present to hear. These are the highest blessings, providing for mother and father support, and cherishing family, and ways of work that harm no beings. These are the highest blessings, generosities and a righteous life, offering health to relatives and kin, and acting in ways that leave no blame. These are the highest blessings, steadfast in restraints and shunning evil ways, avoiding intoxicants that douse the mind, and heedfulness in all things that arise. These are the highest blessings, respectfulness and beings of humble ways, contentment and gratitude, and hearing the Dhamma frequently taught. These are the highest blessings, patience and willingness to accept one's faults, seeing venerated seekers of the truth, and sharing often the words of Dhamma. These are the highest blessings, ardent, committed to the holy life, seeing for oneself no noble truths, and the realizations of Nibbana. These are the highest blessings, although in contact with the world, unshaken the mind remains, beyond all sorrow, spotless, secure. These are the highest blessings. They who live by following this path know victory wherever they go, and every place for them is safe. These are the highest blessings. Okay, so now we chant the Ratana Parita. The protective verses. Yang kin jivitang itava hurang va sakhe suva yang รัตนังปณิตังนะโนสมังอัตถิตถาคเตนะอิทัมปิพุทเทรัตนังปณิตังเอเตนะสัจเจนะสุวัตถิโหตุขยังวิราคังอมตังปณิตังยะถาชคาสักยมุนีสมาหิโตนะเตนะธัมเมนะสมาธิกินจิธัมปิธัมเมรัตนังปณิตังเอเตนะสัจเจนะสุวัตถิโหตุยัมพุทธเศรษโธปริวันนะเยสุจิงสมาธิมานันตริกัญญมาหุสมาธินาเตนะสโมนะวิชชติธัมปิธัมเมรัตนังปณิตังเอเตนะสัจเจนะสุวัตถิโหตุเยปุคลาอัตตสตังปัสสัทธาจัตตาริเอตานิยุคานิโหนติเตทักขิเนยยาสุขตาสสาวกะเอเตสุทินนานิมหัพพลานิอิทัมปิสังเครัตนังปณิตังเอเตนะสัจเจนะสุวัตถิโหตุเยสุปยุตตามนาสาธารเหนะนิกามิโนโคตมัสสาสนัมหิเตปัตติปะตาอมตังวิคัยหลัตถามุทานิพุติงพุญชมานะอิทัมปิสังเครัตนังปณิตังเอเตนะสัจเจนะสุวัตถิโหตุขีนังปุรานังนวังนัตถิสัมภวังวิรัตจิตตายติเกภวสมิงเตขีนะพีชาอวิรุณหิฉันทานิพันติธีรายถายัมปทิโปอิทัมปิสังเครัตนังปณิตังเอเตนะสัจเจนะสุวัตถิโหตุ We do the translations. Whatever wealth in this world or the next, whatever exquisite treasures in the heavens, is not for us equal to the Tathagata. This too is an exquisite treasures in the Buddha. By this truth, may they be well-beings. These exquisite deathless, these passions ending, discovered by the Sakayan sage, while in concentration, there is nothing equal to that Dhamma. This too is an exquisite treasure in the Dhamma. By this truth, may there be well-beings. What the excellence awakened ones extols as pure and calls the concentrations of unmediated knowing. No equal to that concentrations can be found. This too is an exquisite treasure in the Dhamma. By these truths, may there be well-beings. The aged persons, the four pairs, praised by those at peace, they, disciples of the ones well gone, deserve offerings. What is given to them bears great fruit. This too is an exquisite treasure in the Sangha. By this truth, may there be well-beings. Those who devoted, firm-minded, apply themselves to Gautama's message on attaining their goals, plunge into the deathless, freely enjoying the unbinding those they have gained. This too is an exquisite treasure in the Sangha. By this truth, may there be well-beings. In that deals, there is no new taking birth. These passions their minds toward further becomings, days with no cease, no desire for growth, enlightened, go out like these flames. This too is an exquisite treasure in the Sangha. By this truth, may there be well-beings. Sadhu.
We now request for the 3 refuge, 5 and 8 precepts together. We'll begin by bowing 3 times. First bow. Second bow. Third bow. Mayang bante ti saranena saha atta pancha silani yachama dutiyampi mayang bante ti saranena saha atta pancha silani yachama tatiyampi mayang bante ti saranena saha atta pancha silani yachama
นะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะ
นะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะ
ทังสรณังคัจฉามิ
บุตตังสารนังกัจฉามิ
ธัมมังสรณังคัจฉามิ
ธัมมังสารนังกัจฉามิ
สังฆังสรณังคัจฉามิ
สังฆังสารนังกัจฉามิ
ติยัมปิพุทธังสรณังคัจฉามิ
ดุติยัมปิพุทธังสารนังกัจฉามิ
ติยัมปิธัมมังสรณังคัจฉามิ
ดุติยัมปิธัมมังสารนังกัจฉามิ
ติยัมปิสังฆังสรณังคัจฉามิ
ดุติยัมปิสังฆังสารนังกัจฉามิ
ตติยัมปิพุทธังสรณังคัจฉามิ
ตติยัมปิพุทธังสารนังกัจฉามิ
ตติยัมปิธัมมังสรณังคัจฉามิ
ตติยัมปิธัมมังสารนังกัจฉามิ
ตติยัมปิสังฆังสรณังคัจฉามิ
ตติยัมปิสังฆังสารนังกัจฉามิ
สรณะคัมนังนิธิตัง
อามาบันเต
ปานาติปาตาเวรมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิ
ปานาทิปาทาเวรมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิ
อทินนาทานาเวรมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิ
อดินนาดานาเวรมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิ
กาเมสุมิชฌาจาราเวรมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิ
กามิสุมิจฉาจาระเวรมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิ
มุสาวาทาเวรมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิ
มุสาวาดาเวรมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิ
สุราเมรยะมัชฌปมาทัฏฐานาเวรมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิ
สุราเมรยามัจจาปมาทฐานาเวรมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิ
Now for the 8th preceptor อภรัมมจาริยาเวรมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิ
อาบรมจาริยาเวรมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิ
วิกาลโภชนาเวรมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิ
วิกาลโภจนาเวรมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิ
นัจจคีตะวาทิตะวิสุกทัสสนามาลาคันทะวิเลปนะดารณะมันดนะวิภูสนัฏฐานาเวรมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิ
นัจจากิตาวทิตาวิสุขาดัสสนามารากันดาวิเลปนาดารณามันดนาวิภูสนัฏฐานาเว เวรมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิ
อุจจาสยนะมหาสยนาเวรมณีสิกขาปทังสมาธิยามิ
อุจจาสยนะมหาสยนาเวรมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิ
อิมานิปัญจอัฏฐสิกขาปทานิสมาธิยามิ
อิมานิอัตถาสิกขาปดานิสมาธิยามิอิมานิอัตถาสิกขาปดานิสมาธิยามิอิมานิอัตถาสิกขาปดานิสมาธิยามิ
สีเลนะสุขติงยันติสีเลนะโภคสัมปทาสีเลนะนิพุติงยันติตัสสมาสีลังวิโสทะเย
สาธุสาธุสาธุ Let us bow 3 times again. Let's bow. Second bow. Third bow. We will now formally request for the Dhamma Talk.
Brahma Jaloka Thik Bhakti Sahang Bhakti Các tan Jari An Thik Wak Rang Aya Jakha Santi Thak Sakta Pak Rap Jak Jaktika Thế Se Thủ Thang Mang Anu Kang Big Mang Pak Jang
นะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะพุทธังธัมมังสังฆังนะมะสามิ Okay, so it's Fridays again, and today is time for renew our commitment to the teachings, and yeah, today I was just reading the sutta in the morning. Actually, in our monastery, every day, so the monks will take turns to giving the teaching for the people who come to the monastery, to offering the meal to the monks. So it's today is my turn. So for some reason they usually give assignment to me on Friday. So I have a chance to read the sutta to the people who come to offering the meal to the monastery. So this morning I was telling the suttas on the Majjhima Nikaya. It's called Gita Kiri Sutta. Gita mean grasshopper, Kiri mean mountain. So this is probably happened in the grasshopper mountain somewhere in the Buddha times. So the story goes that the Buddha, he in the early day, he hasn't laid out the rules to limit the times of eating. Actually, he's just saying that I'm refrain from eating at night, and by just only eating during the daytimes, then I was pretty healthy and there's no illness, and actually it feels very healthy. The body is very light, and it have strength and energy, and it's also at ease and have the well-beings, very suitable for practice. And then he he suggests that the whole monks, the community of monks, also doing the same by refraining eating at night. So see, the Buddha in the beginning, he hasn't laid out the rules yet. He just giving himself as an example that he doing this and this, and it has benefit. So he encouraged monks to follow his practice, but he hasn't. In the beginning, he hasn't laid out the rule that if you don't do it, if you eating in the wrong time, then there will be the offense that come later. But in the early day, he used this Dhamma, try to encourage people to follow his way. So the monks follow his recommendations, refraining from eating at night. But there's two monks, which in these two monks is called the troublemakers. There's 6 of them. So these 2 of them are basically it's a residence in this grasshopper mountain. So there's a group of monks there, and these 2 are basically probably one of the senior monks there. So the group of monks go and inform both of them that the Buddha recommend this and this, not eating at night, and this will be bringing the body. The body will be light and energetic and easy to practice. So why don't you do the same? But these 2 monks denying. Both of them saying that actually I'm doing quite well now. I'm eating in the evenings. I eating in the morning. I eating in the afternoon. Basically, he eating every time he want to eat. He just eat, and by doing this, he feel he's very healthy, and he not really he feel everything that the Buddha said, the benefit of eating only during the daytimes. So he said, why would I letting go of the benefit or the happiness that I have right now to chasing for the happiness that will be in the future by following the Buddha advice? I see no point of doing that. So the group of monks try to convince him, but it's not successful. So they go and inform the Buddha. So the Buddha say, okay, go and tell these 2 monks that the teacher want to meet with them. So the group of monks go and then inform these 2 monks, and they come and meet with the Buddha. So the Buddha asks them, is it true that the monks tell you this and this, and then you deny, you don't want to follow my recommendation? And those monks also repeating the same excuse that he gives to the monks. So the Buddha start by saying that did I teach you that by having this, there's 2 kind of feelings, the sukha, the present feelings, dukkha, the unpresent feeling, and the neutral feelings. By doing this, then the akusala dhamma, all those unwholesome dhamma will be declining, and the wholesome dhamma will be increasing just by having this feeling. And of course, the answer is no. And so the Buddha go on that to say that actually I witness myself the benefit of doing this, and of course there are certain present feelings that when you have that present feeling, then the unwholesome dhamma will be increasing and the wholesome dhamma will be decreasing. And sometimes it's the opposite. When you take some present feeling, then the unwholesome dhamma will be decreasing, wholesome dhamma will be increasing. So the point is that it's not the feelings in itself that is important. It's not like, okay, when I have these present feelings, then I will just stick to that. Because certain present feeling, when you do that, the wholesome, the kusala will be decreasing, and akusala, the unwholesome, will be increasing. The same is true for the unpleasant feeling, the dukkha vedana. Sometimes you take that and the wholesome kusala increasing, the unwholesome decreasing. Sometimes you do that and you take that feeling and the unwholesome is decreasing, wholesome is increasing. So the point is that you have to look at the result of that, whether it's present or unpresent. But if you do, and then the unwholesome Dhamma is decreasing, the wholesome Dhamma is increasing, that is more important. So sometimes you might say that, oh, I'm doing fine, just eating whatever times that I like. But by doing that, then your wholesome Dhamma will be decreasing, your unwholesome will be increasing. And the Buddha says that I'm seeing through my wisdom eye of all this. I'm not guessing. I treat by myself that will be benefit to you by follow this recommendation. And the Buddha go on to say that I'm not saying that everybody, I mean all the monks, you have to be heedful. There are certain monks like the fully enlightened, the arhat, they already done their job. They finish all those things that they have to be done to themselves. Already knowing the Four Noble Truths in full. They already abandon the unwholesome, and they develop all the path and fruit to the end, because they're fully enlightened. In such a person, then actually it's impossible for them to be heedless. They always be peaceful. But for some people who are for the Seka, the one who's still on training, still in training, it's very important to be follow the instruction very carefully. So because there's still a lot of work for you to do, because you have to be mindful, not fall into indulgence and then missing the path. And the Buddha go on to elaborate on what kind of the Seka, the people in training. They studied with many people, the people who are follow the path of faith. They call the Sattvanusari, who are driving by faith, and some people are Dhammanusari, driving by the wisdom. And there's many levels up to the highest one. So all these people is still subject to heedlessness. So they have to practice very hard until they can liberate themselves. So when the Buddha teaching that, I think these two monks just realize that they are not fully enlightened yet. So they're not in the category of going beyond the practice, and they should take the training at heart and try their best to follow the teaching of the Buddha. But they still have hope. I guess they start bargaining with the Buddha. They said, okay, so then who are we, and what is like a qualification of the one who will see the Dhamma, what they have to do. So the Buddha basically tell them that even the teacher or the master who are still attached to the material wealth, material gain, then you shouldn't bargain with him. This like, okay, only if I have this, then I will give this. If I don't have this, I will not give this. This is like going to the market and bargaining. Like you want to pay the least minimal amount of money. Yeah. The same way, I think these two monks are, what he pointing at is that how can I keep the minimum rules that I also in the same time I can attain enlightenment. I think many people still have that kind of bargaining attitude toward the rules of the Buddha. So the Buddha said even the master who still attached to this material wealth, you shouldn't bargain with him. Not to mention actually the Tathagata, actually myself, like the Buddha, who are totally detached of this material wealth. So actually you shouldn't be bargaining with the Tathagata. The right attitude of the monks is to take the training at faith, to recollect that the Buddha is the teacher, I am the student. The Buddha knows, I don't know. And I will follow the instruction until I will arise my energy. The Buddha said the word of, actually when he go and sit at the root of the Bodhi tree, he said that I will sit here, even my skin, my flesh, my all rich away, and my breath, I still sit there until I get enlightened. This should be the attitude of the monk who are keeping the training. Only then the Four Noble Truth will manifest itself and understand, and the teaching will be meaningful for them, so they can go beyond the sorrows, lamentation, or this suffering. So this is a kind of the summary of this sutta, which I find very inspiring, because from time to time, so people usually come and ask, almost like the attitude is like these two monks who try to bargaining the trainings, like especially the rules about drinking alcohol. How about I drinking a little bit? I'm not losing my mindfulness. I just able to going to the social, maybe some kind of the way of going and then talking to the friends. Shouldn't be that bad. I just taking a little bit of alcohol. So I think it's the same thing. I try to bargaining away. How can I keep the minimal rules? So at the same time, I still want to get enlightened. I think the Dhamma Vinaya, it doesn't work that way. I mean, the fact that you even think like that, then it means that you don't have the attitude of taking the Buddha as a teacher. So the real attitude is to see that the Buddha is a teacher, and the fact that we the Buddhists, because we believe in that, and we want to follow the trainings and all those rules, and the Buddha give the recommendation because he see it, because he understand that this is the way, and he himself has been through that and see the benefit of that, and he tried to convince us and lead us to gain of suffering, and you need this path to cultivate, to train yourself. I think it's very hard this day because we are more or less under the influence of this attitude of the consumer kind of attitude like the market, and you go and then sometimes you kind of pick and choose which one that is you want to practice, and just leave the one that you don't want, and maybe that may not work in these trainings. Some of them have to come in package. You have to, unless you commit, unless you put yourself into that, you might not understand and might not see the benefit. So the faith is a very important step, because we don't know. I mean, we have to accept that our limitation, because we haven't tried. So we take the Buddha as our teacher, and we commit ourselves and to practice. And more you understand. I mean, many rules. When I ordained as a monk, I'm not really understanding that much, or at least maybe not in full details of why the Buddha have to lay down this rule in this particular way. But after practicing for my 2 decades now, so I've become a monk, then more and more I'm appreciate the rules that the Buddha laid out. A lot of them actually make the life much easier. In the beginnings, it might be difficult and might not understand, because you always try to avoid that and come up with your own. Usually it's a kilesa, you just try to make a loophole here and there, but it's the Buddha have a lot of experience, and he certain rules that he laid out is maybe the benefit might not see immediately, but in the long run, it helped a lot. Even this the rules about eating. So it seems that it's many time period when the Buddha laid out these rules. In the beginning, it might be that he forbid the monk from eating at night time first. Actually, that's the word of the Vigala. Usually it's mean at night time, but then it's extended even during the daytime, after noon, after the midday. Then he also prevent the monk from eating. So in many ways, it's very healthy. Actually, now more and more scientific paper come and support that the most important meal of the day is actually early one, the breakfast, or the one that you have in the beginning of the day, because you have it and then you use it. You go and you use that energy. The one that is not much useful or even harmful is actually the one that you eat after night. At night time you eat and then you go to bed. All those things that you eat, it just accumulate high cholesterol and all those things. So more and more scientific paper are approved, support the Buddha recommendation, having one meal a day, or not necessarily one meal, but one before noon, because that is the period where the body can wake up after fasting for a while, and then it's just very healthy times. It fit exactly what the Buddha say. And also in terms of the social as well, like the monk, we have the lifestyle of going out for Pintapata. It's a way of going to receive the food. The Buddha compares very beautifully, like the bees going to get this, to harvest this food from flower. Same way, the monks go and gathering the meal from each house, so they don't have to go to the monastery. The monk just go to them. For the monk part, then it's a good time to exercise. So you at least you have to walk 1 hour a day to get. It's it's getting the body going, and it's very healthy way of you having a walk. At least once a day you have to do the exercise to carry the balls out, and also remind yourself that you are the samana. You are living depend on the generosity of other people. So I think this is work very well with the lifestyle of the monks, and then as a chance for me to meet with the lay people to see their how they live and their lifestyles and things. Of course, you probably see the best parts of them because they will come out and then mindfully offering with respect the food to the monks. But once in a while, we just see the house where, regular householder life. Sometimes the husband shouting at the wife throwing something to the husband. Sometimes it just also happen in the daytime. So it's just one of the education for the monk as well, to remind us of how busy or how difficult it is to live as a lay life. So it's a time for us to go out and to in our part, we after meditate and do the chanting, we mindfully go in the village, and at the same time we look at the lifestyle of the householder, how difficult it is. But even that, they still want to support us by providing this meal, this food, and each house can spare some spoonful of rice and maybe some wheat rice, and then with that, it's bring a lot of the gratitude and the sense of what we can do to make that meal worthwhile, by arousing energy, study hard, and not waste the time, but to use the energy that coming from that food in the productive way, in the wholesome way. And for the same time, for the lay people, can at least in the beginning of the day, they see the symbol of the samana, of the peaceful one going in the village, and to receive the food from them, and they're very happy to have a chance to give generosity. Even maybe some are very poor, but they can spare the spoonful of rice each day. So I think this is very lovely way of communication between the monks and the lay people, and the lifestyle, the exercise that the monk get, the mindfulness, the restraint of this sense, and at the same time having this meal, and then come back and to have this meal. So this is the way that after a while it's become routine, and it is actually when you get used to that, it's kind of very healthy lifestyle, because you are forced to do this exercise every day, and you get this a meal that is very important. And now they're talking about fasting, that actually the fasting is better. When you fast, you have a chance for the body to get rid of the old cell and to generate a new cell. So having like 24-hour fastings, once a day a meal is very quite healthy, and it's not that bad. In the beginning, it might be difficult, but when you get used to it, actually it's not that difficult at all. It's just one meal that is really simple, and it's put everything is in a very healthy way. And of course, if you in the afternoon, you can have some maybe honey or some light fruit juice to help you with some time with the low sugar in the afternoon. So this is quite a very lovely lifestyle that I would encourage. I know many people are taking the 5 precepts for a long time now. So if you start thinking of taking the 8 precepts and step up the teaching a bit, I think that is very attractive if you want to progress in the teaching of the Buddha. And the Buddha recommend for the people who want to focus on the training of the mind, to simplify yourself, to eat only in the morning times. It's very suitable for practice. The body is light, healthy, and you will feel much better when you when you take the 8th precept, and it's called the renunciate precept. And also it's a very good way of learning about the rules as well. Before we take any rules, sometimes we just say, okay, what's the point? Just the sun at the midday. Why you have to limit times of eating? Why not just okay, eat whatever we want? But even though this is a convention, but the convention that when we make it and we stick to it, it helpful for us as well, the attitude toward the rules. So it just it helps us to commit it to something. Okay, I have some rules that I live by. Okay, I will not break it, and I will just try to stick with it. And it brings a lot of self-respect and a lot of integrity that we can stick to these rules, even though it's convention. Again, I mean, in the sutta, the Buddha said only the Arahant, the fully enlightened, then they can't be heedless anymore. But even them, all the Arahant will still keeping the rules, even though they themselves probably don't need it, but they keep the rules because they know that it's very important to have the rules. The rule is very helping them to attain this state, to attain this arahantship. So they would try their best to keep the rule. It's not like when you become an arahant and then you can break the rules and then you can go free and not care about it. Not at all. The arahant, even the one who cherish the rules and stick to the rule, not because they need it for their own training, but because they want to keep it for the later generations, for them to benefit, to use that as the stepping stone to understand the teaching. So this is, again, in the Theravada, then all the monks who ordain will keep the same rules, and even the Arahant also keeping the same precept. So it's one of the, even though it's beyond the training, we still use that as the marker, of the one who are basically free from this sensual desire. The anakami, the non-returner, automatically they will take this 8 precept by nature, because they go beyond the sensual worlds. They just basically become 8 preceptor by nature when they become non-returner. So this is one of these kind of rules that I think it's just not that difficult for many reasons. Not only for the spiritual reason, but for the health reason and for many things as well. Because these days we are facing many, like the climate change and all those things, the animal cruelty, all those farms, animals, and other things. So if we can limit our eating, it will simplify our life. Of course, we will save our money and time so that we can put that to do something else, to use the free time and energy in the afternoon to devote ourselves to more training. So I think it's one of the rules that is it will be helpful, especially the one that you can't rely on the pressure from sense pressure any longer. I mean, you already have been testing in all the tests, what all the sweet or the sour things that you eat in the world, you probably already test that. So why not try to put your happiness in something higher, renounce from it, gain something more spiritual rather than sensual happiness, maybe more spiritual by letting go. And so the training is just maybe to do that once in a while. The Buddha recommends the one path once a week. If you like, you can extend it maybe 3 days a week, or if you like, you can take it all the time. Yeah, it's just a very healthy lifestyle and very conducive to practice. And the Buddha speak from his own experience, and many people who keeping the 8 precepts can tell you that how beneficial it is for the spiritual training. So I encourage people to take the training precept in a more serious way. Taking it on faith of I want to step up my practice. The Buddha is a teacher, and he laid out. Of course, he doesn't compulsory. He doesn't mandatory that you have to do this, but he encouraged. And for the people who are not monks, then it's just optional, and you can practice if you find it beneficial. But because you probably have to try it first, otherwise you will not see the benefit. Okay, so in that there's few questions that may be related to that. Is that how does one improve or attain concentration? The question posed to me. I think if you want to improve or attain concentration, one way is to step up your sila as well. Like I say, the renunciation precept, the 8th precept is very supportive of concentration. So if you haven't have a chance to keep the 8th precept, or you keep it only once a week or something, maybe you can up on that, maybe take the 8th precept more, and see whether that will help to improve your concentration or not. I think that's the most easiest one that you can do. And rather than the precept, because the precept is like a foundation. When you have a strong foundation, then whatever concentration, anything built on that will be more stable. You might want to learn the different technique. There are some in the Buddha recommendation is like 40 object of meditation. So you can pick and choose one that is helpful to you. I think there's so many. You can find the explanation in detail in Visuddhimagga. Yes, some of them are interesting and fun as well. The kasina and all those things. I don't know. Not many people are doing this day, but I think it's something that's worth trying. Some people, like people with a visual thing, look at the disc with this color and try to internalize it and use that as a kasina. It's so many things to pray, and then when you have the precept, that is okay, and now with more time and energy you can invest into learning about which one is more suitable, which concentration. And I think it's a variety to read, to spend some time to study about it. It's worth. How can you practice concentration without any theoretical knowledge at all? It's just very difficult. So if you want to practice anything, just go and read about it a little bit. The same thing as if you want to contemplate on the quality of the Buddha, but we have to learn about what the life story of the Buddha first before you can thinking about that and then inspired by that. So I would recommend, okay, sila, you practice up on the sila, and on the wisdom part, you have to study and to know what the meaning of that and how to attain that. So that's why we call it a threefold training: sila, samadhi, and panya. In order for you to be having the good samadhi, you have to focus on the sila and panya part, because these three things are go together. When you have more sila, when you understand more, then your samadhi will be deeper. So you have to spend time with the other two rather than just go with the concentration, because concentration needs a good foundation and need a good understanding as well. Otherwise, it will not go deep. How does one know which method is suitable? Of course, the only way to know is to try it out and to see whether that's suitable for you. There are certain kind of recommendation based on your charita, like if you are the raka, raka means your greedy mind, or your dosa, your angry mind, or your moha, kind of diluted mind, then there are certain object of meditation that you can use. It's all in Visuddhimagga, or you can read. Say if you are the angry type, then the sina might be the suitable one. If you are delusion of maybe some quality of the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. If you are the raka, the greedy or lustful mind, then a supa, something like that will be exactly opposite. This is the thing that why sometimes you need the teacher, because if you are the raka, if you are the lustful, the last thing you want to do is to contemplate on asupa. So that's why you need to read and to understand your own nature, and to a certain extent you have to go against it, because with the lustful mind, the last thing you want to do is to go and look at the corpse, look at the autopsy and things like that. So that's why sometimes you have to go and have a teacher, so he will force you to do that, to do the thing that you don't want to do, but that is suitable for you because because you need to go against that. It's not you, it's a kilesa that making you do that. So I will recommend to study, to know your temperament, your way of thinking, and then to go opposite of that, and that will help with the concentration. And how long should one use a particular method before deciding if it's suitable? 100 hours or 1,000 hours. So, I mean, the number it's very depend on persons. I don't know how to put the number. Normally, they said 10,000 now is when we become the expert. But you probably not have a time to try 10,000 hours. You probably have to by, I think, in the first maybe 100 hours, you probably know already that it's gonna work for you or not. If it's not, then you can use another method. So at least try it sometime. I think 100 hours. If you do it 2 hours a day, so that will be about 50 days. So probably roughly about 2 months. I think that's reasonable times. If you put in the effort, say sit in the morning 1 hour, in the afternoon 1 hour, you do it for 2 months and it still doesn't progress, it's time to think of other method that might be more suitable. So all of those 40 kammatthana, I mean, one of them might be useful. Usually in the forest tradition, we didn't emphasize much on the technique, because people have a variety of temperament. So we have the roughly like the sila that we come together, but in terms of what you do when you have your own private time in your kuti, then it's totally up to you what you want to do. So that's why it's not mandatory. You feel free to try whatever method that you like in whatever proportion that you want. But we have this kind of the marker. We sit together in the morning, in the afternoon, and we chant together. And by sitting together, then at least we keep up that kind of things, the momentum going. And people who are more energy can be inspiration for the people who have less energy. But you learn the method that's work for you, and you do it when you go back to your heart. And it's not whatever work for you is work for you. It's difficult to tell which one. But there's, like I said, there's 4 basically kammatthana that everybody should know. The metta, the loving kindness, is the opposite, counteract with the anger, and asubha, counteract with the lustful mind. Maranasati, contemplation of death, will counteract the laziness, and the Buddhanusati, to bring up faith into the. So this is the, in general, these 4 Kammadhana is basically what everybody need to know, because sooner or later you have the kilesa come up, you have to counteract with specific type of Kammadhana. But in terms of what is your primary Kammadhana, it really depends. Most people teaching the Anapanasati, which is very simple, but it's not for everybody. It's actually not that easy. You have to be, it's very refined object. So your mindfulness have to be sharp as well to use the Anapanasati. So you can try that out and see whether they have any progress in that. If not, then for you might have to use other more coarse object of meditation. Okay, so there's another question come up. I use some wine for cooking dishes. Is it against the 5 precepts for the Dhamma talk? Well, okay. The rules about the alcohol is actually different between the monks and the lay people. The monks' rule is that it's a pachittiya offense to have the food with the alcohol. Period. They basically the rule is very simple. Sura meraya pane pachittiyang. The offense is when you have a dish with the alcohol. But for the lay people, it's different. If you see the wording of that, Sura meraya machapama tathana veramani, to refrain from drink or drug that intoxicant that dull the mind. It's have a Sura meraya machapama tathana. Machapama tathana is mean it make you lose consciousness, mindfulness. Basically, is where you lost the mindfulness. Is probably the critical way. The wording they use there. So that means that in the lay people rules, it's more flexible. In the monk rule, it's very clear. I mean, even though you not lost mindfulness, but if you have the alcohol, then it's considered offense. You have to confess. There's a story one time in Wat Nanachat, we have these tea times where people prepare the drink for the monks, and there's a special herbal thing that is you need to be ferment a little bit. They put something on it, but you have to do it in the proper way. But for some reason, I think that the novice who was preparing it was doing it wrongly, rather than putting the lid on it or something. It turned up that it's become alcohol, and then because the monk doesn't know it, or they come in and then take a sip of this, and everybody red cheek is kind of red, and then we just realize that it's alcohol in this is a drink. So we commit the offense, even though we not intend and we don't know. But in the rule, you say it's pachittiya if you drink it with the alcohol. So, and then again, if everybody commit the same offense, we can't confess to each other. So we have to send the monk over to Wat Papong to get the monk confess there, and then the monk come back, we confess to them. So that become a kind of the big thing. But it's just the rules about the monk is more strict. But for the lay people, I mean, if you use it in the way that is, because sometimes you just need it for solution. Sometimes it needs to be dissolved in the alcohol. As far as you have it, and you're not losing the mindfulness, and you use it for whatever other reason. Maybe it's just called it's not in the amount that it will make you lost mindfulness. Then it's not against the 5 precepts in the lay people rules. Okay, so maybe just to clarify that. So if you have it just for other purpose, not to drink it to make it lost mindfulness. It's just one component that you put in it, and it's not considered breaking the 5 precepts in the lay people term. But for the monk, will not. If you bring that dish to the monk, then the monk take it to the monk will be committed the pachitiya offense. So which means we have to confess it and then try not to do it again. Okay, so it's good that you try to make the sila pure. It's very important to learn about this issue of it. What is a component of this issue? Yeah, so when you more refine with the sila, that means that your wisdom and your concentration will have to be higher as well. When you commit to the higher training, higher sila, so that usually go hand in hand. So if you want to improve your concentration, you have to improve your sila and you improve your wisdom. It will bring your quality of your mind upgrade your mind, it will be more concentrate. So you will cut down the unnecessary thing to be worried about when you keep the precept, and you focus on, and you have some analytical. When you have a wisdom, you know the cause and condition of things. So when you know the cause and condition of things, you can make it happen. You can train the mind in the proper way. So that's why to learn is also very important, to learn at least the theoretical part of it and to apply it. And the fact that how long you need to apply it is really depend. I think the 2 months is good timing. If you try your best and it's 2 months, it still doesn't come up with anything, maybe that is not suitable for you. Maybe you pick up some other object of meditation. Okay, there's another questions. Can 8 precept drink coconut packaged drinks? Well, you can drink anything in the morning, but coconut is considered not the pana. In one of the category of the pana or drink in the afternoon after midday, the coconut is considered food. I mean, there's a certain fruit that the juice from it is unallowable, like the pumpkins, it's not allowable. Any kinds of the melons, it's not allowable. Coconut is not allowable. What else? Actually, in the commentary they use the rules of the thumb. Any fruit that is bigger than the thumb, then it's not allowable. So anything that's simple, the fruit that is coming from whatever, orange, apples, anything that doesn't have a pulp in it, and you can have it in the afternoon. I think it's basically to cut down the burden of doing things. If you have to preparing a lot, and it's a big thing, it's difficult to do, but just some kind of fruit. But this day it's not that difficult, you can go and buy it. But again, we try to stick to the letter. When you're talking about Vinaya, is because it's just the letter. We have a trust in the Buddha. So whatever he laid out that is allowable, then we just take that. If it's not allowable, or if you have any suspicion, then don't take it, because even the suspicion is still is offense, even though it turned out that later it's allowable, but because you have a suspicious mind, then that in itself is not. That's why it's good to know it. Then you don't have any suspicions. You should know which one you can, which one you can't have it. So any kind of tea is okay. Tea, honey, oil, butter, sugar, like sugar cane, usually that come up. What else? I think maple syrup, anything like that in the category of the sugar is allowable. You can dissolve it in the water and have a sip of it. Anything that is like milk is not allowable. Soy milk is also not allowable. It's considered food. Any fruit that is too big, bigger, it's not allowable. So just stick with whatever is allowable. Okay, so that will be enough for today. So just talking about the importance of keeping the precept and upgrade your whatever precept and trust in the Buddha. Yeah, taking the position that I'm the student, the Buddha is the teacher. I don't know, the Buddha know. So whatever the Buddha laid out, he know what he's talking about, and he do it out of his own experience, and that is why he laid out this rule, and it will help us in terms of progress in our practice. So by taking that, then your wholesome quality will be increased and your unwholesome will be decreasing. That is the ultimate the end, whether you are coming in the right direction or not. You know, sometimes you can't use the feeling as the if you do it, you feel good, then it must be okay. Maybe it's not, because your wholesome might be decreasing. So the ultimate rule of thumb is the unwholesome have to be decreased, and wholesome is increased by keeping the rules and follow the Buddha recommendations. Okay, so hope all of you stay safe today, and if any of you haven't get vaccinated, then there's go and get it to prevent from infections for yourself and for the people you love. And even though you get vaccinated, you still have to put the mask, because it's only prevent you from getting kind of severe infections, but you can still spreading it to other people. So you still have to keep your distance, social distance, and protections, and get vaccinated. Okay, so hopefully that will be enough for this week.
Andamayang Dhamma Kathaya Sadhu Karang Dadamase. Sadhu, 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 anumodami. Thank you, Tan Ajahn, for the teaching and the advice. And let's pay respect to Tan Ajahn by bowing 3 times. First bow. Second bow. Third bow. Shall now invite Tan Ajahn to lead us in the closing homage, please.
Arahang Samma Sambuddho Bhagava Buddhang Bhagavantang Abhivademi Sawakhato Bhagavata Dhammo Dhammang Namasami Supatipanno Bhagavato Sāvaka Saṅkho Saṅkhang Namami.
Thank you, Tan Ajahn. May Tan Ajahn stay safe and healthy. Shall see Tan Ajahn next Friday again.
Okay, see you next week.
Thank you.